Okay, how many more OCs can I make before this is seen as a problem? Hello there, I'm Kale, and back making my 55. Oh, wait, no, freaking 61st character. Oh my freaking god. This might be a problem, but whatever. I know I said I'd try to create like OC lore videos about the ones I already have, but I thought this would be really fun, so here I am doing this first. Hopefully I can get a video up soon. We'll see. Now I'd be lying if I said this video wasn't inspired by Ginger Ninja's video turning Blind Box into Monster Girls. However, instead of turning a Blind Box character into my own OC, I've decided to take two Blind Boxes and combine it into one character. Wait. Okay, it's cool. I promise. Just watch. Okay, so first up we have this Emma series Frostveil Villa line box, and the one I really wanted was this like wolf character one. You can see they're already open because my sister and I were impatient, so we just opened them beforehand. But here it is. It's the Plague Doctor one, and it even comes with hold on, this little mask, like a Plague Doctor mask. You can even put it on him, like, look cute, right? Um, I also like to just put it on top of the hat because it sits there really nicely, actually, so I can see the face of the Emma doll and have all of it there. So this is a close up of the doll. Okay, next up is this little Emma Ocean Bubble figure. There's a lot of different ones. When I first opened it, I thought it was just these 12, but apparently there's like four variants of every single one of these or something. So when I opened it, I was really confused because I couldn't figure out which one this was. Apparently, I think it's the pearl dumpling, but it's just like translucent one. I don't know. It looks really cool though. I'm happy with them. So let's see what I make out of these two. Okay, so the speed paint at first is gonna be flat like this because I forgot Ibis doesn't like show everything in its speed paints. So when I remember to start recording this a little bit later, you'll see that. So the first thing I knew I wanted to do when creating this character is that I wanted a hat like how the Plague Doctor figure had. However, I was thinking of how I could incorporate the ocean little dumpling figure in, and I started thinking about like water and ocean and like fish, and that's where I kind of got the idea to start making her hat kind of like a fish bowl where it's like translucent and you can see like water inside of it. And that's kind of the same direction I went with a lot of the clothing, where I took inspiration from the clothing from the Plague Doctor one, like the cape or like the stitch patterns on the pants. But then I was thinking how I could incorporate that later with the color scheme, which you'll see later, with the pearl dumpling with the like the translucent pink that it has. Don't ask me how, but I somehow lost the footage of me drawing the cape and that little thing on the side over there. I was mainly just trying to like visualize the cape better in my head on the side. That sketch doesn't stay, but I do like the idea of the cape, and I was trying to draw those like little waves on this, like as a little pattern, to be like the like what is it? The like sea foam that happens at like the coasts or like the edges of the water, and yeah. So I obviously made her a rabbit because that's what most of the Emma figures are, and that's what the Plague Doctor one is. However, here you can see close up to the hat, and I was going for like little like water wisps as like dripping down to show that it's more like viscous. Is that a good word for it? I don't know. I just wanted to show that it was more fluid than just like a hat, and like it was more like water. Here I took the little ruffle belt thing that I made and put it on like as accents to like the collar and stuff. That part is mainly from how these Emma figures most of the time have these like ruffle patterns around the face, but I didn't really want to put it on the face, so I found other places to put it instead. As for the hair, I kind of just played around with it. The Emma dolls don't really give any like hair ideas, so I just kind of like drew a bunch of lines together and made it work. Okay, here me trying to add texture to the ears kind of made it look like a pickle or something. Yeah, I got rid of that. I swear, does anyone have this issue with bangs where one side looks really good and you just cannot for the life of you figure out the other half of them? Because I swear that always happens to me, and that's exactly what's happening right here. I eventually figure it out, but it's always one side is so much harder than the other. Drew a little bit of accent fishies to help bring across the like water motif that I have going on in the character. God, why am I talking about this like it's an English project? I have to analyze it. Whatever. Here's me sketching out like the little doodle I have on the side. I don't know, whimsy, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know why I kept doing that one so much. I didn't end up actually using that in the finished one. Maybe I should have. Maybe I will later. Okay, now I guess I'll start talking about what my ideas are for this character and what I want to use her for in the future. As I kind of mentioned in my first video, I have two main worlds where I put my OCs in, the fantasy world and the modern world. Here I plan on putting her in the fantasy world. A lot of times I actually think of new characters I want to add to the story. Like I think, hey, I want to add this type of person or this type of character. Sometimes I just get inspired by like things I read or things I watch. And like I need that kind of person in my story. However, it takes me a lot longer to actually like make an actual design for them than to just think of who they're going to be and like slotting them into the story and thinking about it. So she's actually going to be someone filling in a role that I already had. So my idea for her was to be kind of like um think about Honkai Star Rail and think about kind of like the personality of Sparkle, but gambling, like kind of like adventuring. I like the idea of like what Sparksy has and like the insaneness and not caring for like risk and just going all in. In this fantasy world, each person has like a weapon type thing. Normally it's like a little like badge or little like I don't know, trinket that they have on them that turns into their weapon. And I'm not going to go into all the details right now about that. I'll probably do that later in like another video. But basically, I want her and her weapon to have like a gambling theme to it. Like instead of attacking directly, it's a game of chance where the opponent gets to try to change their fate and win and gain some kind of buff from it. However, the house always wins. She will always come out on top and she will always be the winner in the end. I want her to kind of like not regard her life in the same way most people do, where she takes these risks that most people wouldn't take, but she knows she's going to win anyways, so she does it and just has fun with it. Also, please acknowledge how much pain and suffering I went through for this drawing. I literally drew on the wrong layer and had to redo all of it, which you probably just saw, and why they're still blue when I took off all the sketch layers. That was not fun. Okay, but back to the character. I think I want her to have another person who she always relies on, who's like a healer type character, but she is the one, is like, it's like this person's safety net to make sure that she will never die, and that's why she's able to do all the risky things she does, because she doesn't have to fear that it will all be the end one day. I guess I should also maybe mention that in this world, the lifespans of people aren't the same. So basically, people don't die of like old age like we do in real life. Instead, they can only die through like being killed or like some kind of like rampant disease or something. But even then, diseases are like rarer. The most common case of death is like fighting, because this is a fantasy world with like monsters and stuff. So with her not having to think about dying of old age, plus she has someone there who can always heal her if she needs it. I think that's why she always plays around with like getting so close to death but not quite there, and why all her games circle around life or death. However, like her whole personality is like gambling and like playing with life or death and doing these like games of chance. However, I don't think I want her to be someone who's like trying to like take everything from people and like make people poor like an actual casino would. I think she just wants to have fun. She just wants to like hmm, she just wants to like get more excitement out of things, and as she keeps going deeper and deeper into this gambling hole, she needs more and more to feel something out of it. I think that's what I kind of want to get out of her from that. And here's the finished product. I don't actually have a name for her yet because I'm really bad at naming my characters. Like literally, I said I have over 55 OCs, but if you looked at that list, most of them didn't have like actual names, or like I didn't put a lot of them because they don't have actual names. I just kind of name them after something that's related to them. So, for example, I'd probably call her like Rabbit or something. I don't know. If you have any suggestions, though, I'm glad to hear them. I would love to have more names for my characters. I'm just lazy, but also I like having more meaning towards the names of my characters, at least with the older ones, and I haven't figured out how I want to go forward with naming my characters, if you know what I mean. Anyways, here are also some sketches I did of her later on in Aggie with some friends. I think they turned out fine. I don't know. Maybe I'll do another full drawing of her later. I really do like her, and I like what came out of, these two blind boxes. I mean, this was honestly like really fun to do. I really like making characters. That's why I have so freaking many. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Please let me know if you want to see more of this because I would love an excuse to buy more blind boxes. Like, please? Plus, then I get to make more characters, which is also always a really fun part. Okay, see ya.